MJ Golem QuickBooks Video 4, Entering Vendor Information. It is very simple to enter vendor information into QuickBooks. You should simply use the Vendor Center. From the main menu, click Vendor Center. Now, the Vendor Center tells you most of the information that you need regarding managing the data of your vendors. The vendors will be listed here on the left. You can search for a particular vendor or filter by the different kinds of vendors that you have if the list is very long. The information here is about the selected vendor, but of course now none of the vendors are selected because there are none on the list. And whenever you select a vendor on the left list side, you'll get the transaction information here. To enter a new vendor, click New Vendor, and put the name. Now, there are three sections, or three tabs of information, if you will. The address info goes in the first tab, and normally you would type in the address. Whatever you type in here will show up when you make reports for vendors or enter transactions or print checks for vendors. So be careful to make sure you type the right address with the right vendor. There's also other information or other data like a Rolodex that you could add for each vendor. And of course, if you have the same credit terms with this vendor every time, you can click the second tab and put those in. This is the one where you choose, this tab here, this last tab, Account Prefill, is the one where you choose the specific expense associated with that particular vendor. And that's how you add a vendor to the list. When you click OK, that vendor is added to the list. Let's try again. New vendor. This time we'll put Verizon. And of course we'll skip putting the address, but the account for Verizon, normally you would choose telephone expense. Okay, now you have two vendors on the list. You select Con Edison, you select Verizon. When you select Con Edison, their information shows up here with whatever transactions you had down here. When you select Verizon, their information will show up to the right with any of the transactions that you have down here. If you wish to edit a vendor, you should go to the Vendor Center and double-click their name, and you can change anything in the Vendor Center that you want in the Edit Vendor window, and you can see the information